What's going on, moviegoers? Let's talk more Halloween, shall we? Now, as of yesterday, you guys, we know that Bloody Disgusting exclusively reported that Paramount is shopping the rights to the Halloween franchise. And apparently, some insiders said that Paramount Plus looks to be the front runners for whatever those rights or those pitches may have been heard. Apparently, it's going to be a TV series, right? Evolving around Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, an anthology series, kind of like what Deborah Hill and John Carpenter initially wanted to do after the original 1978 Halloween. But the studios loved Michael Myers, right? Michael Myers has been the face of this franchise. How could you do anything involved around Halloween without Michael Myers? It's going to be a difficult sell, honestly, you guys. And Paramount Plus, who has Paramount Plus? I have Paramount Plus, but it's going to be a hard sell. Look, as much as I want to revive this Halloween franchise, what can you do that's so different, that's so unique, that can bring this franchise back to its feet? Because honestly, the way it ended, Halloween Ends, definitely left me so disappointed. So disappointed, you guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of pitches that Paramount are, they're hearing right now. Because if you're going to do a complete reboot of Halloween, you know what I mean, and having it set in the 70s, or even not even have it set in the 70s, you know what I mean, picking a different timeline, having it set in the 90s, you know what I mean, that could be a possibility, because you're going to have to do something very drastically different from what the films have already established. How could you add to the franchise without it feeling so repetitive? That is going to be the difficult task at hand, whoever decides to pick up the franchise. I appreciate what David Gordon Green tried to do with his trilogy, but ultimately the way it ended, it started off very high with 2018 and just fell flat right on its face, you guys. The finale of Michael and Laurie was, boy, oh boy, so disappointing. The first film to really essentially, kill Michael Myers. Fun fact, in Halloween H2O, you guys, the original ending was to definitely kill off Michael, but the studio came in and we're like, whoa. Can you film a scene just in case we want to revive and do another film and possibly continue on the franchise? But the producers and directors are like, that was never our ending. Michael died at the end of Halloween H2O, which I think was a brilliant idea. I still think it's a better trilogy than David Gordon Green's trilogy, having the 78 Halloween 2 and then, 40 years later of Halloween H2O. So this is going to be difficult. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch has a very small fandom. It's a very small fandom in the corner right here who love and appreciate that film. And, the Silver Shamrock and the Mask and stuff like that, people enjoyed it. But ultimately, the studio execs and, they wanted to get back to the roots and, they wanted to bring Michael Myers back because at the end of the day, Halloween 3, you guys, was a failure. And it's never been tried or attempted again. Now, the fact that Paramount Plus wants to do something along those lines of an anthology is interesting. But honestly, how do you sell a Halloween project without Michael Myers? That's the difficult thing. How do you sell it? How do you sell this is going to be the up-and-coming new Halloween series, but without Michael Myers? What? Well, why would I watch it if Michael Myers isn't in it? Right? It's a difficult sell. So the writing has to be so good. And the budget has to be low because I don't think the viewership is going to be there if Michael Myers isn't there. If they decided to go along with a series, which I do think they have to. The movies have been done. How do you add the movies? Look, we've had so many Halloween films. And to reboot it is going to be difficult. You can't do the whole, Laurie Strode character again. The Dr. Loomis. You can't. You have to come up with a whole different, unique take on the franchise. You have to. You just have to. So if they decided to do a full-blown reboot, it has to be a film. It has to be a movie. Because I feel like Michael Myers deserves to be on the big screen. Michael Myers. It's Michael Myers. He's in the face of the franchise. He's such an iconic figure. To have Michael Myers go straight to streaming, for a movie would be kind of odd. And honestly, Paramount, was it Paramount or Peacock or Hulu? Hulu did that with, with Prey. I feel like Prey would have did, great in theaters. It was received so well critically and with the fandom, but it was released on Hulu. So you're really, it's a gambling choice to go straight to streaming for a film. It's a gambling choice. So I don't think that would necessarily work. But what other kind of storylines could they adapt or could they bring to the table when we're talking about Halloween? Well, what about a Dr. Loomis prequel? That would be interesting. Smith's Grove. I mean, anything set before 1963, different files, different cases, different patients he's interacted with, leading up to the Michael Myers character. You know what I mean? Their first meeting in Smith's Grove in, 1963 when he killed his sister, Judith. That would be interesting. That would be pretty cool. I mean, you have it like in an insane asylum, something like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You hire your nurse Ratchet. These people are mentally ill. That would be an intriguing aspect of the franchise. And of course, I mean, Dr. Loomis is one of the most beloved characters in the Halloween franchise. I think it goes Michael, Laurie, and Dr. Loomis. That would be cool, but casting Dr. Loomis would be difficult. You can grab the guy that had played Dr. Loomis, who was an electrician on Halloween Kills. That could be a possibility, but you need him to do some acting because he only had a small role in the flashback scenes in Halloween Kills, which I particularly loved. The flashback scenes in Halloween Kills were the best part of the whole film. That could be a possibility. Or what about the storyline of Thorn, which, was teased in Halloween 5, throughout the film, and then Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and the producer's cut. The storyline of Thorn, the firstborn son, the bloodline. What if you do a series on Thorn and Michael's parents and how they sacrificed Judith and Michael, their firstborn son, because of this cult-like behavior? That would be an interesting aspect of it all. Think about it. Why did Michael's parents never show up after that night in 1963 when Judith was killed? Why did they never appear? Did they even visit Michael in Smith's Grove? That's your son. Yes, I know he killed your daughter, but that's still your son. So it's kind of interesting to me that Michael's parents were never around and they knew where he was. He was in Smith's Grove. That would be a very interesting aspect of Thorn and kind of resurrecting that particular storyline. I know not a lot of people liked it, but guess what? It has a small fandom just like Season of the Witch. I'm trying to figure out what they can do and what they can add to the franchise. Hey, chill out. What they can add to the franchise and with Paramount Plus and streaming. Because like I said, this has never been done before. Streaming Halloween, streaming Michael Myers. It's going to be a difficult sell, you guys. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But ultimately, I'm going to try to be as supportive as I can. I really want this franchise to get that jolt back that it desperately needs. I still think that there's so much you can do with it. It just has to be done right and, taken seriously and given time for the writers and stuff like that. Because with the new trilogy we had, it felt like they kind of just rushed each film out, not knowing what they really wanted to do with it. You know what I mean? You can't do a Halloween series based on Michael Myers. Oh, it takes place in Halloween, right? One night of the month, that being Halloween. You can't necessarily do that because if there's going to be 9 episodes taking place in the course of one night, that's kind of a stretch. That's a little bit too much. But push your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. What would you want to see new and fresh from the franchise of Halloween? Push your comments down below and let me know what you guys think. Peace.